I'm back again in another live stream broadcast or podcast or whatever that is. So basically, I got, I don't know, unintentional free times, but since I basically got a long meeting in around, I don't know, 17 minutes perhaps, or 16 minutes, so I basically can only create this personal productivity before the meeting. Since, yeah, obviously, if you talk about the good behavior recording, I will most likely spend for around half an hour, perhaps. I'm not sure. But this time, for this broadcast, I probably will try to utilize around 10 minutes, perhaps. I'm not sure, since there is still around 6 minutes gap, perhaps, before the meetings for me to take a rest for a while, perhaps. I'm not sure. But basically, I don't know what kind of things that I basically want to talk about. So I have finally tried to test the old gaming PC hard drive, even though it's not technically old because that's actually the last or the latest hard drive or SSHD solid state hard drive that I tried to bought, which is still in warranty, perhaps. I'm not sure because yeah, it was used to be a pretty expensive hard drive, but I basically tried to bought it for around $30. But for some reason, I always thought that there is something wrong with the hard drive, which makes the game often freeze. So that's the reason why I try to reproduce it into my dream gadget using a lot of stuff, which is the most annoying is actually the external power source, because yeah, in order to make the hard drive plug and play, you basically need the external power source for the 3.5 inch hard drive. So for the 2.5 inch hard drive, you basically able to use the USB power source only, which is pretty convenient, even though it's still technically external hard drive, which basically will disconnect if your computer somehow turn into a sleep. So that's the reason why yesterday I'm just pretty lazy to connect it again, to log in it again in order to play. Since yeah, after I basically left for around several minutes to make the computer sleep, so when I come back, all of the Steam already gone because yeah, the hard drive is actually disconnected and trying to connect it again, but yeah, there's no some sort of warning because I definitely not try to safely remove the hard drive. Besides, for some reason, if you talk about the 3.5 inch hard drive, since the external power source is actually not come from the same devices, so it's basically directly from the power outlet. So I don't know whether it is actually good for the hard drive health to be still running, even there's no actually data that was transferred into the electronical devices to the room gadget. So that's the reason why when I basically want to plug it in into my dream gadget, I basically try to plug it in into the power outlet first, which basically make the hard drive running, and then try to plug it in the USB into the dream gadget. I don't know whether I will basically try to do this all the time in order to play using my Steam account, even though I basically able to. It's basically pretty much the same like logged in into my main Steam account in my dream gadget, which I used to afraid of, because yeah, I don't know, because I'm just afraid they're basically a spyware, and I just don't want to waste my main account, so that's the reason why. So, but yeah, it turns out I basically eventually tried to do it anyway, even though in a little bit different things, because I basically tried to use the Steam application on the external disk, which is basically I have also in my internal disk the exact same application. So yeah, that's pretty dumb, but to be honest, if you talk about sharing the same folder or the same static files between the Epic Games and the Steam, it is actually not as simple either, because you basically need to somehow change some configuration file which basically can make it recognize as Steam static files or Epic Games static files. So that's the reason why it's also not as easy as I thought. So this is also the reason why people cannot change the Rockstar Games Social Club directly, because yeah, it's basically permanently linked into the game itself. So yeah, that's pretty annoying. If I basically try to move the GTA for the Steam from the big hard drive into smaller ones, or even the SD card that was basically plugged in into the Dream Gadget, it will be pretty waste, because I basically have to Grand Theft Auto 5, which is around 200 gigabyte, and yeah, it's just pretty dumb. I don't know. Or maybe I will basically try to upgrade my old gaming PC, because yeah, if it is really a root cause from the VGA, I will probably try to buy another one, but I'm afraid it will cause a lot of bottleneck, obviously, with the CPU, and I just don't know whether it is actually caused by the CPU as well or not, because yeah, that's a lot of unknown things and uncertainty, which basically can make me actually spend a lot of money instead of just like this buying an external USB or SATA to USB converter, which is only around $7. And yeah, the cheapest GPU that's basically pretty worth it is for the new one is above $200, which is pretty dumb. So yeah, there's a lot of money big, but I basically can utilize the Dream Gadget, but using the different 2230 NVMe SSD, which I basically got as well for my external. But yeah, I don't know. It was intentionally used for the Watchdog Legion, so I'm not sure whether it is actually capable to store Watchdog Legion and Grand Theft Auto 5 at the same time, because it's only have 256 capacity, since the Watchdog Legion is around 70. It's technically possible, but yeah, I think I was also moved the Need for Speed Heat into those SSD, so which around 20 to 30 gigabyte. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely gonna be smaller, much smaller, because in my current NVMe SSD I only tried to install Watchdog 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5. The free space is only 40 gigabyte left from the 256, even though it was not technically empty before I was basically trying to install those two games, because the previous owner, because I basically tried to buy secondhand, is actually already installed some Windows that I just don't know whether it is actually still able to be boot or not, because yeah, obviously I just don't know how to change the boot devices for my Dream Gadget either, and I'm basically worried there is several driver that I need to install as well, just like when you basically try to boot up Windows from a Mac devices, which is not as easy as I thought. So yeah, it's already 10 minutes, so I don't know what else that I basically want to talk about. Yeah, I think I will try to stop this stream perhaps, I'm not sure. So basically, I basically want if after the meeting I'm still technically have some spare time, which most likely I guess unintentional free time, I will try to continue with the good behavior recording, obviously, and also the native language podcast recording, even though I basically already tried to process the whole the whole previous session, obviously, even though it's technically and faster because I always try to upload in the odd date, and since the exact what date is actually 31 and 1, so that's the reason why it's technically and 2 days earlier than usual with the 7 episodes. So yeah, even though it is already 7 episodes as well from the next season, if I'm not mistaken, so technically I have a lot of gap, and it will make the gap bigger if I basically try to keep preparing for more episodes until I finally didn't have anything yet, since definitely the article that I try to read from my main blog is actually will eventually finish, because yeah, the remaining or the latest that I try to write on my main blog is actually in English, which I basically will try to record, but try to upload in this channel instead. Perhaps, I'm not sure, because yeah, if I try to talk in, if I try to upload in the main, the other newly created channel is actually dedicated for native language, my own native language. Even though yeah, it's finally have a single comment in the fair in around 3 views videos, which is, to be honest, it's pretty interesting. I always thought it was actually a bot, or the people would just basically try to bully other creators that seems to be unworthy. But yeah, it the first comment is actually a little bit appreciation, or I don't know, or it is actually uh, I don't know what basically the perfect word to define that, but indirect bully. So I don't know. But yeah, I basically try to keep positive thinking, and hopefully more and more people will really give a real appreciation to me, because yeah, that's pretty unnecessary as well to give a direct or indirect bully, because for some reason it technically doesn't make any difference. But yeah, I don't know. But in those exact video he didn't try to give any like as well, or even a dislike if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know whether it is actually positive or negative things. But yeah, it's definitely still take a while to finally able to get what I deserve. I don't know, because the algorithm is definitely a hard thing to bypass, unless you're trying to be clickbait. Perhaps, I'm not sure, even though clickbait is also not always success, because yeah, it will, you will still eventually get a lot of dislike if you're technically really clickbaiting to other to the video that's supposed to be not viral. So I don't know. I think it's already 14 minutes. I think I will try to end this stream, because yeah, I will basically got